Good morning, good morning, good morning, people. Happy Wednesday. Welcome to the Morning LifeScope with TrueheartSpeaks. I am Detra Trueheart, your life purpose generator, purpose provoker, and iSpeaklife mentor. Here to help you get out of your own way and get to the business of living. And I'm just excited about today. Hey, Sams, good morning, good morning, good morning. Good morning, everybody. Let me check out these comments. Let me make sure. Hey, Ebony, good morning. Y'all come on in and say good morning. We are having conversation today about overwhelm. Overwhelm is not your friend. I've just been having conversation with lots of people, paying attention to lots of posts and different things, and recognizing that there are lots of people who are overwhelmed. And so if you have not taken the opportunity, specifically on Facebook, if you are on my Facebook page, make sure you are sharing this so that everybody can see this message. And if you're on Instagram, if you're catching the replay, make sure that you share this when it's over in your stories, right? Tag a few people. And so I see that, let me just double check here. I don't know why my internet is so janky. I'm looking and it's looking like it might be, excuse me. All right, give me a second. Let me make sure that all is good here. But how is everybody? How y'all doing today? I missed y'all last week. I don't know if y'all even noticed that I was gone, but I just needed a day to rest. I needed a day just to kind of, hey, Tamika, good morning. I see you all. So let me share from my Facebook page, and then and then I will check out who's saying hello, because in the Facebook group, for whatever reason, it doesn't always let you see the names of the people. All right, here we go. So I'm going to share this. But good morning. Y'all come on in and say good morning. How are you? How y'all feeling today? I feel like my allergies are gonna, I don't know. I've been doing really well. Last summer, I didn't really have any issues with allergies. So I'm praying that that's not the case, that that's still the case this year, that there are no issues with allergies. You know what I'm saying? Because listen, thanks, Shakita. I appreciate you. I appreciate all of y'all. Okay, so I shared that. Let me do another share. Let's see. And then we're going to get started. So I got some juiciness that I want to share with you guys. It says, I noticed I got on. I was like, now what's going on? That's so funny. I'm glad y'all missed me. Listen, it's good to be missed. You know, and people be like, oh, you weren't here last week? I didn't even notice. All right, so I shared that. Let me pull this up. Let's see here. Is this my True Heart Speaks page? I think it is. All right, let me go into the, here we go, iSpeaklife Live, because that's the page that I have. Darnell, Adriana. Hey, lovies, how are y'all doing? Listen, that's what I'm talking about. I want to be missed, right? But yeah, I just had to take a day. And you know what? It's okay to take a day and rest. It's okay. Like, you know, I think, you know, I used to think like, oh, wow, like if I'm not live, then child, listen, I'll see y'all next week. You know what I'm saying? Says when I didn't see the post, I was like, she rested, can't be mad. Yes. You know, sometimes it's good. You know, I had just come out of doing a whole lot of stuff. And I was just tired, and I was sick the week before that, like just a whole bunch of stuff, y'all. And so, good morning, India. How are you, love? So I just, I needed a moment to rest. So before we get started, I want to let you guys know that enrollment for my one-on-one private coaching is open. I only work with a small number of women just because of the amount of time and energy I put into that. So if that is something that you are looking to take advantage of, that is my high end offer. And so that's something that, you're ready to like, listen, I really need to, do something different here. I want to invite you to book a 30-minute Get Acquainted session at trueheartspeaks.as.me/get unstuck. If you're on Instagram, click the link in my bio and it'll say book your Get Acquainted session. Facebook and YouTube, it's scrolling across the bottom. And so I will make sure to share that link. And I want to say it's in the actual post. So you can click that link in the post for Facebook and for YouTube. But yes, I recognize that there are some women who want more than just what I give through the inner circle, through the life scopes, through my programs. And sometimes that's how you all are introduced to me. And so I say thank you for that. And I'm really excited. Like and this, I'm excited because I get a chance to do things that, to some extent, I never thought that I would do. Like, I'm not going to lie to y'all. Some of you have heard my story around, like, I didn't ask for this, right? So as far as like coaching with, like, I want to be a speaker, motivational speaker, and travel the world and all the things. And, and God just had other plans for me, right? And so speaking is definitely one of those things, but I am a teacher, a speaker, a coach, a strategist, like all the things. So not all the things, but things specific to me, I'll say, because some things I can't do, right? And I don't try to. But good morning, Deanna. I see you, love. So yeah, I'm just, excited about, this season that I'm in and being able to work with women. And I'm working on some fun things that I'm hoping to launch in June or July. And, just really, really, really good. So, and then I'm also working on something for those of you who are not able to do the high end coaching. Working on some group programs that are a little bit more affordable in a group setting, but still getting coached. So I'm really excited about that too. So with that being said, let's get this party started because I want to make sure that, we have conversation. Let me make sure here. I might pull my notes up. So we're talking about overwhelm today. Overwhelm is not your friend, right? And so really quickly, for those of you who are watching and you were good morning, Fit Girl Tima, how are you? Hey, Indy, you won't be here on Instagram. So if Facebook or YouTube starts to glitch, I'm on Instagram. And so y'all can come over here and make sure you share and all the things. But so how many of you just, by wave of hands or a one or whatever, just type one if you have dealt with overwhelm at any point in time this year. You have dealt with overwhelm, type a one. And I know that there is somewhat of a lag. And so I'm going to keep teaching as I'm seeing it. But type a one if you've dealt with overwhelm at some point in time this year. One, right? Yes, I see the ones coming in. Good morning. I see you all. Yes, right? And so I think, sometimes I think that we have to deal with overwhelm. And sometimes I think we don't know that we can tell overwhelm, you don't live here, right? Like this is not going to be a part of my life that I just have to live with, right? And so I want to just take a couple of moments and talk to you about the fact that overwhelm is not your friend. You don't have to live with overwhelm. You don't have to allow overwhelm to run your life, right? You don't have to allow overwhelm to literally be the driver of your life, right? And so a lot of times we feel like, man, like I'm just so overwhelmed and I can't catch a breath and, everything is happening all at once. And, the hashtag, I hate it here, right? And so I think it's important to first recognize that you do have a choice. I'm going to take this thing slow. Try not to inundate you with a whole lot of information because it's, we only have a small amount of time, right? But, you have a choice. You have a choice. And it doesn't have to be, a constant, consistent driver in your life. Overwhelm. We're talking about overwhelm. The conversation that overwhelm is not your friend. It is not your friend. And I won't say it's the enemy, right? It is not, but it's definitely not. We can call it the enemy. We call it whatever we want to call it, right? But you are not supposed to be living day in and day out with overwhelm, right? Overwhelmed with just life, overwhelmed with things, overwhelmed. And there are a couple of things that I'll talk about around how I deal with overwhelm. And part of the things that I deal with sometimes is what I did last week is I shut down and I take a break. And I'm not necessarily concerned with what people think. And I wasn't necessarily overwhelmed last week. I was just tired. But one of the ways that I handle overwhelm is really taking a step back and figuring out why I'm overwhelmed and really kind of figuring out what I can do to eliminate overwhelm in my life. I'm helping somebody. I'm helping y'all today, right? And so understand that you actually have control. You are in the driver's seat of your life. You are in the driver's seat of what happens. No, you can't control what happens, right? Some things you can, you can if it's in your control, but there are lots of things that are not in our control, right? Death is not in our control. When people get sick, it is not in our control, right? Even sometimes, trying not to, like, for some people say I did all the things, right? The right things, and I still got COVID, right? You can't even control that sometimes, right? And so, in some areas you can't control, but then there's some areas that you can. And those are the conversations that we're going to talk about a little bit today, right? The conversations around the things that you can control. When you have, and I share this all the time, like being overcommitted, when you've got way too much on your plate, you become overwhelmed. It's kind of like the example of when we were little. I don't know if any of you, where your parents say, your eyes are bigger than your stomach, right? And so you get this plate full of food, specifically like on holidays, right? So Memorial Day is coming up, 4th of July is coming up. All the days that, we have somebody having a cookout, somebody gonna have some ribs, somebody gonna have some greens, some potato salad, like all the things, you know what I'm saying? And, you put all this stuff on your plate thinking like, I'm about to tear it all the way up. You eat one rib, you eat a little bit of potato salad, a little bit of the greens, child, and your belly is full. Your belly is like, we were not ready for this fiasco. You know what I'm saying? And so now you have all of this food. And so luckily you can wrap it up and take it home and eat it later. But what happens when your plate of life, you wrap it up and you take it home and you got to carry this thing? What if that plate, let's just talk literally, right? Figuratively, but literally, that plate of food, you had to take everywhere you went. You had to take it for, hi, Marilyn Boo. Happy birthday, happy anniversary, all the things. Hey, AZ, good morning. What if you had to take that plate around and you had to carry it around everywhere you went? That plate of food. And you didn't eat it. You didn't take anything off the plate. As a matter of fact, everywhere you went from barbecue to barbecue, but every day you taking that plate and you adding stuff to, at some point, the plate gets heavy. At some point, the food probably gets stale. I'm preaching to somebody because this thing right here is not even in my notes. At some point, it becomes a little annoying because there's way too much happening. And now you're like, what am I going to, like, I can't keep carrying this plate around. Like, either I have to eat it or I've got to start taking stuff off the plate. Am I helping somebody today, right? Sometimes you have to even decide that you're not going to add anything else to the plate until you eat what's on the plate. Sometimes when we look at overwhelm, part of the reason we're overwhelmed is because we're overcommitted. We've taken on way too much. Whether it's at work, whether it's in life, right? Family, relationships, just all the things. And this isn't anything some of you have not heard me say. We just don't know how to say no. It looks good. We think we can handle it. We think we've got capacity for it, and we don't. And so overwhelm does not have to be, you have to decide that overwhelm is not going to be a constant part of your life. You have to decide, and you have to pay attention even to your body and what's going on with you to recognize what's enough and what's not enough. Sometimes you don't know in your life what's enough, when enough is enough, which means that because you don't know when enough is enough, that by the time you get to enough, you're overwhelmed. You're like, this is too much. Who told me I could handle all of this? Who told me I could do this? Who told me that? Who told me this was a good idea? You ever had that, right? Who told me this was a good idea? Who told me that this was a good idea? I think it was me who told me that this was a good idea. And sometimes it's not a good idea. It's not a good idea. And so I want to break the word overwhelm down to for you just for a little bit so you can really get an understanding of what this word means. And y'all know I like breaking words down. And so it means to submerge or engulf, to overcome utterly, right? To roll or surge over something, as in becoming submerged. So when you think of submerged, it's like water, right? You are submerged in water. That thing just overtakes you, right? You ever been to the beach? If you've ever been to the beach, or maybe even in the pool, but maybe in the beach, right? And you get in the water and the waves just kind of over you. Like, oh goodness, like you like all the things, right? And it just takes over you. That's what overwhelm is like. That's what overwhelm is like in our lives. And the origination of the word means whelm. And whelm means to drown. Child, these words, I was like, ooh, these are good. To engulf, to overflow. And you know, we like to use overflow in a good way, right? We want to share out of our overflow, right? But to overflow, to flood, it's kind of like the overflow of a tub, or if you run too much water in the sink and it starts to overflow, right? It's too much. Or and then over is above, on top, in excess of. And so when you think about overflow, and you think about your life, and you think about overwhelm, and you think about even just to whelm, right? To drown in something, to be overflown or flooding in something. And you think about your life, I want you to think about, is that really how you want to be living on a consistent basis? The answer should be no, child. You should not want to live that way, and you should not want to wait until you're drowning to recognize that you're drowning. At some point, we've got to start being preventative, proactive, as opposed to interventative. I don't even know if that's a word. Prevention versus intervention. I'm gonna say it like that because y'all know I'll make up a word in a minute. We've got to start using prevention as a tool as opposed to intervention. Too many of us, to some extent, right, are saying, okay, I'm overwhelmed. I've got tons of stuff going on. I need coaching. As opposed to, you know, I feel I'm in a good space and I feel like, you know, I want to make sure I maintain this. I need coaching. Y'all heard that, right? Some of us, we wait until we're flooding. We're waiting until like we're literally engulfed in the thing. And now we need somebody to help us get out of it, which is fine, child. That's what I'm here for. But I love to be able to give you tools to make sure that you get that you get to a point where, what am I trying to say here? That you don't get to that point, right? That you've got tools to make sure that you recognize, right? You're able to assess the situation. You're able to assess how you're feeling, like all those things. So that when overwhelm starts to show up by, hey, you want to do this, or hey, you want to do that, or hey, like you can decide before, right? Because we're always on the after. I'm overwhelmed. I got a lot going on. And sometimes you can't help it. I had 2 deaths in the family a couple weeks ago. We had to do a dual funeral for my aunt and my cousin, and it was a lot, child. It was unexpected. That's something you can't control. And so in those spaces, I had to decide what was not going on the plate. You have to decide what's not going on the plate. You have to decide how much is too much. And you need to be able to decide that before you get to the point where the plate is too. You ever get a plate that's not, weighty enough, like them little rinky-dink paper plates, and all of a sudden, like the plate starts getting, soft, and then at some point, like it doesn't break, but your food starts sliding off, right? And so we don't want our lives to be sloppy, and we want to be able to create a solid foundation, but we also don't want to like inundate ourselves to be able to carry more than what we're supposed to be carrying in a specific season. Is this hitting y'all? If this is hitting y'all, give me a 2. If this is hitting you, give me a 2. If y'all are getting something from this, give me a 2. I just want to make sure I'm not losing y'all. I know some of y'all might be taking notes, but I really want to make sure that you understand that, you don't have to be inundated with stress, inundated with anxiety, inundated with responsibility, inundated. Like sometimes you just have to say enough is enough. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing it. Like, it's okay to say no. I just had a conversation, 2 with notes, Shakita. I love it. Okay, I see the 2s. Hey, Tashiko, how are you, lovey? And so, like, sometimes you just have to say, I'm not doing it. Like, and it's okay. As I was going to say, I was part of I don't know what to call it, but there were some things that was asked. I'm part of another membership program. So yes, your coach does participate in other things too. Hey, Denise, how are you, lovey? And so one of the things that she started asking me around my brand story was this idea of being overcommitted, overwhelmed, all the things. And I recognized that at some point, I decided to give myself permission to walk away from some things, to shut some things down, to say enough is enough and not worry about what other people think. And I'll just tell you that for me, that whole idea of being delivered from what people think, because I am a people person, and we like to be liked. Some people don't care. I like to be liked. I ain't gonna lie. And so when I'm feeling some kind of way, and plus because of I feel things, right? But I'm learning to be delivered from people because I also understand that where I'm going, what I do can't be dictated by y'all, child. And not to say y'all are not important, because I love y'all. But to the point of where sometimes our focus is so much more on what are they going to think. And it's like, who cares? You can make adjustments. You can totally make adjustments. You can totally take a step back and say, you know what, this is not working for me. I need more time. I need to reassess what's going on. I need to look at this situation differently, maybe from a different perspective. I might need to turn, a little bit. And it's okay if, you know what, this too much, right? We know the memes, right? DIS, I think it's TEUMUCA, this too much, right? Not spelled right. This too much. It's too much. And you've got to decide when too much is too much, and not at the point of burnout and breakdown. It can't be too much at burnout and breakdown. You've got to decide and you've got to be able to recognize when you can't handle it yourself, and you got to get some help. You got to get a coach. You got to get a mentor. You got to have somebody that you can say, this too much. I'm doing too much. I need, and sometimes you got to sit yourself down. And sometimes sitting yourself down is good, but then sometimes you need somebody who can give you strategy and who can hold you accountable. Say, okay, so I thought you said you wanted to do X, Y, and Z. Look like you added some more greens to that plate. I know you like greens. I know them greens is good, but you can't, your belly is and the plate is not set up for more greens. Don't put another rib on that plate. Listen, eat the ribs you got and then come back and get some more. Woo! Eat the ribs you got and then come back and get some more. Handle what's on your plate. Stop adding stuff to your plate. And here's the other thing. Stop being stressed about things that you literally cannot control. I am literally coming to really have solid peace about a situation that I literally cannot control. I can't control it. When I say I cannot control, I do not have a finger, a baby toe, a nothing. And so worrying about how things are going to play out, worrying about if it's going to work out, worrying about, things that you can't control, you will overwhelm yourself with things that are outside of your control to the point of breakdown and burnout. And I don't want you having a breakdown over things you can control. I don't want you to have a breakdown over anything. And so as I close, I'm going to pray and I'm going to let you guys go. I want you to think about the areas of your life where you're feeling, and some of the synonyms for overwhelm are inundate, destroy, submerge, crush, defeat, overcome, overpower. Understand, child, that from a spiritual perspective, which I didn't even touch upon, that is exactly what the enemy wants. He wants to inundate you with things that are not relevant to where God wants you to be. He wants to steal, kill, and to destroy. He wants to submerge you in things that are not relative to purpose, that are not relative to assignment, that are not relative to what you're supposed to be doing. He wants to crush you. He wants you to be defeated. He wants you to feel defeated. He wants you to feel overcome, and he wants to overcome you. He wants to overpower you. That's the power of overwhelm. Remember, the word over is above and on top and in excess of. But understand that he doesn't really have authority. And so some things you've got to decide, I don't have control over it. I'm not carrying it. This is not my thing to carry. This is not my thing to manage. This is not my thing listen, I don't have anything to do with it. Some of y'all need to stop giving insight and input around things that you don't have no business being a part of. You actually have great ideas around it, but child, this ain't your season to be inserting yourself into everything. You got to learn to be quiet around some things. And so overwhelm is not your friend. Overwhelm is not your friend. Overwhelm is not your friend. I don't care what it says. I don't care how good it smells. I don't care how good it tastes. I don't care how big the plate is. Your plate is only so big. I don't care if they give you the extra big right plate. Even then, there's still only so much that you can eat. So let's pray. Father, we thank you for this message. I pray, Father, for those who not only are watching live, but those who are watching on the replay, that this word really pierces and really helps them to see that overwhelm does not have to be a consistent part of their lives. And that when it comes, Father, I pray that you, oh God, will help them to pay attention to the signs, pay attention to the patterns, pay attention to even just their body and how it feels, pay attention to all the things, Lord. I pray, Father, that you, oh God, will give them insight and discernment. I pray, Father, that you will give them wisdom to say no. That you, oh God, will give them wisdom, oh God, to know when enough is enough. I pray, Father, that you, oh God, would help them be okay with walking away from some things that they may want to do, but it's just not time. It's not the season. It's too much. We didn't even talk about the fact that sometimes the stuff that's on our plate are not even supposed to be on our plate, which is why it overwhelms us, because we said yes to things that we didn't really want. We said yes to that potato salad that we really weren't going to eat. We said yes to the baked beans that we really didn't want, but we wanted to be polite and say yes. We wanted to be polite to the food that we don't like, but we took it anyway. God, oh, Jesus, I pray, Father, that we will start saying, no, thank you. No, thank you. No, thank you. Because guess what? When we leave space on our plate, then there's space for the things that we really want. There's space for the things that we really want to eat, that we really want to enjoy, that we really want to experience. And so I honor you, oh God, for this word. I thank you for this word. I pray, Father, that we become even more, for those of us who need it, delivered from people, delivered from opinions, delivered from saying yes to things that we don't need to be saying yes to, that we're delivered from anything that would cause overwhelm to come into our lives and to be a constant part of our lives. I speak against that right now in the name of Jesus. That overwhelm is not your friend. That overwhelm does not live with you. That overwhelm can go away. That you have the power to decide whether overwhelm stays or goes. And so we thank you for this time. We thank you for the space. We thank you for this moment. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. So I pray that this message blessed you. And I pray that if it spoke to you and you're like, you know what, I really need to sign up for one-on-one coaching because I got some things on my plate that I really don't need on my plate. And I really need to figure out how to reset. I need to figure out how to assess and maybe reassess some things. And so go to trueheartspeaks.com.as.me/get unstuck so we can have conversation around how I can support you. I'd love to be able to support you privately. And one of the things that you'll never really see me putting out is a lot of information around private coaching because some of my clients are very private. Like the stuff that people come to me with is not stuff that I can share. And so it's not that, I'm not working with people. It's just that it's none of your business what we working on. Right? So if that's something that you're like, ooh, I like that, I might be your girl, right? But outside of that, make sure you are just staying connected. I've got some really exciting things. If you're not part of the Inner Circle, which is my membership and my mentorship community, it will be opening next month. And it is our 1-year anniversary. So in addition to doing some fun things, it'll be opening for July. So you won't be a part of the anniversary, but I will be doing some fun things for promotion for people who want to be a part of the Inner Circle. And that is probably the first step that you may want to take in being connected with me if you're not a part of the iSpeaklife Society, which is my free Facebook group. But if this spoke to you, put a 3 in. If this spoke to you today, put a 3 in. What was something that y'all took away from today? Type that in the comments. Put a 3 and then something that you took away today from the comments before we go. But yes, overwhelm is not your friend. Overwhelm is not your friend. When you feel it, child, tell them, say, listen, you don't live here. You don't live here. You can't live here, boo. I see you. Yes. You don't live here. You get to make different choices. And I think we need to be free to know that we can make, better and different choices. Good morning, Faye. How are you? Hey, Vi. Good morning. Hey, Kim. Good morning. Yeah. Focusing on things I can control. Yes. Yeah, child, the enemy will have you chasing child stuff that listen, it ain't even none of your business. Let me tell y'all one of my most recent prayers over this past year. Sometimes you're overwhelmed because you put things on your plate that were never meant for your plate. Absolutely. Not to take on a bigger plate. Ooh, listen, I need to adopt the phrase, no, thank you. Listen, no, thank you. Right? We teach that to our kids. Like, if you don't want to, just say no, thank you. No, thank you. Because our kids be like, ugh, that's nasty. Right? Ugh, Mom, that's nasty. That looks gross. Who cooked that? Right? And you have to tell them, when we go, don't you open your mouth and say nothing about this food. Right? I know so-and-so didn't cook it, but we gonna work it out. Y'all know how kids are, child. We same way, right? Except we didn't grown to just be like, I ain't eating that. Just say no, thank you. Right? No, thank you. But yeah, so just understand. Oh, so what I was saying is my prayer over this last year, but really like last 6 months to a year. Probably last year, I would say, maybe longer than that. Is there some things that I say, Lord, this is yours to handle. Sometimes you got to know when it's not yours to handle. Like sometimes you got to know that thing ain't yours. Like I can't, like it's for you. Like, Lord, I understand that I have to fight this battle with you, but I'm not carrying this. So I'm gonna put this right here. You gonna listen, this is for you. Right? Listen, Faye, check your inbox. I sent your inbox this morning. Check your messenger. But yeah, right? Overwhelmed is not my friend. Stop eating portions of life that are too much. Listen. Let God do the heavy lifting. Yes. I have to. Some things are just here's the thing. And I'm gonna teach you this, and then I'm gonna let y'all go. I'm gonna give y'all just a little. Sometimes you just have to, you feel it. When you feel the weight of it, some things I feel, I'm like, I'm not carrying this. Sometimes I'm not carrying this. I'm not carrying this. No, you ain't gonna disrupt my sleep. I'm not carrying it. And I'll pray until the thing releases or something. I don't know, Lord, that you want to take this thing. I'm not carrying it. I don't know. I don't know how it's going to work out. I don't know, but I ain't carrying it. Right? I'm not carrying it. Overwhelm is not your friend. I know it would like to make you think it's your friend because that food looked real good, right? Just keep going, get you another rib. Go on and add some more potato salad. Go on and get you some more greens, right? You know, add the stuff, child, so much. And then you get home and you like, I'm not even going to eat all of this food. It's so good, but I'm not going to eat it. Sometimes we do, child. We're going to eat that plate, right? We're going to, it's like 2-3 days of that plate. But then sometimes we don't. When we eat, we don't even eat what's on the plate. So let me let you all go. You all can get ready for work and get on with your day and, you know, do what you got to do. Make sure you share this message today. This is a good one. Even I felt it. Make sure you share this in your Insta stories. Make sure you share this on your page. Share it in a couple of groups that you're a part of. It's on YouTube. So if you have people who are not on social media, send them the link so that they can check it out. Because this right here, I think, is going to help some people. And again, if you need more help than what I've shared here, go to trueheartspeaks.as.me/get unstuck so that we can talk about the space around overwhelm and overcommitment that you're in and how I might be able to serve you. All right. I love y'all. I will see y'all next Wednesday. I'll see y'all next month. Can you believe that we're closing out May on Monday? So I'll see y'all. We will be in a new month. The last month of the first half of this year. And so that's another thing I want to share. If you're in a space where what's happening right now and you're like, dang, okay, no problem, Faye. Where you're like, dang, like I need to reassess and shift some things because I really want things to be a little bit better than what they've been. Then we need to do some coaching as well, right? Let's set you up. It's my 90-day program. Right. So the first 3 months of the second quarter, of the second half of the year, so that you can finish the second half strong, right? And at least be where you want to be. So you all have a good Wednesday. And I love y'all. Thank y'all for joining me this morning. Because I know some of y'all be like, listening with one eye open. But I do appreciate you all joining me every Wednesday or listening on the replays, especially if you have to work. I will let you know that I do not take it for granted. And I do really appreciate y'all. So I love y'all and I'll see y'all online and next Wednesday for another conversation for the Morning LifeScope. Bye, everybody. Love you.